there's going to be, in terms of cost competitiveness, there's going to be a little bit of a catching up done. China clearly has got a distinct advantage. It's a factory of the world. It's built itself up very well in that. But the gap between China and India is not going to be what it is today. India is slowly catching up in manufacturing. India's cost is higher than China today, but marginally, and China's cost is catching up. But having said that, they are still the two giant dynamos, which the rest of the world is going to be dependent on. The rest of the world, let's put it this way, okay, the US has got a deficit with China, and maybe in the near future we'll start having a deficit with India. I think it already has. If what your trade figures don't show is the services. Services don't get accounted under trade. If you look at pure merchandise trade between US and India, India does not have a surplus. But the moment you bring in the silent, invisible figures for services, then US certainly has a deficit. And if you watch the last US election, the topic of US jobs going to India was a very hot topic. So India is still in the same, more or less in the same boat as China when it comes to the US. But let's face it, what are they going to do about it?
India's exports.
Are they going to shut down their purchasing of Chinese products? Are they going to stop outsourcing to India? The US is a consumer market and one based on capitalistic principles. To be able to do that, you have to close down your economy and say we are now not going to go on free trade principles, and our consumers will suffer, never mind they pay more, but they'll only buy US products. That is something that is quite unforeseeable. I think it's not going to be.
There was just a few days ago, in fact, because of this Chinese president's visit to America, there's been quite a few articles, a few programs coming on CNN. Just 2-3 nights ago I was watching the fact that though China has this trade deficit with India, I feel that going forward, India and China together, I think we should not look at each other as a threat. Yeah. And I think we in Singapore are well poised at this point of time to bridge this and that's exactly what I've been doing and implementing in my personal business. And I think it's a successful strategy. And as Pradeep was saying, that though once you let the service sector come in, America, what can they do? At the most they're going to do, and what a lot of congressmen are saying, is they're going to slap tariffs of 26% if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the figure, that they're going to slap tariffs on China. Probably they'll do the same thing with India. But at the end of the day, they do not realize that by doing so, they are causing more damage to their economy. They are not following the principles of capitalism and a free market, what they are preaching to the rest of the world. And they're going to make things even more costlier for their own consumers, for their own citizens. Inflation is rising. Fine, they are having a boom from the property market and the stock market, but how sustainable is it? So.
And one more thing, tit for tat. That means you can do something to me, I can do something to you. I can.
Absolutely.
They are threatened. Yeah. They are threatened.
And the
they will
market
get
is so
shut
much
out.
bigger in India and China compared to
They will get shut out from the markets. It is true.
We cannot see each other. China and India, I think we have excellent synergies to come together, to work together. While India may be good in software, China is good in hardware. We are more service oriented. They are more product oriented. So it's excellent synergies if we work together.
Just to quickly touch on that, one of the aspects that we probably did not cover today is between the two giants, the trade was almost nothing 10 years ago. It was something like $200 million. Very silently, it was less than $1 billion 10 years ago. Today, it has grown very silently to a level they are doing $1 billion a month. They have hit 20 billion Singapore dollars. So about 12 to 13 US billion dollars worth of trade, and it is growing at a stupendous rate. Having said that, even if you look at the trade between the two giants, which is growing fast, only a handful of companies that understand how to do business on either side is doing it. But if you look below that handful at the top, there is a huge number of corporations, the middle tier, in India that wants to go and do business in China, and likewise in China that wants to go to India. They may be neighbors, but the culture and the system are worlds apart, and they have no idea how to do it, this middle layer. So they've only touched the tip of the iceberg. Now sitting here in Singapore, we have the expertise. There are many amongst us who understand China, who understand India. there's a fantastic bridging role that we can play and pick up a slice of the pie. Because when we do it, and all we need, we are very small, all we need is 5% of the returns, and we'll do very well as an economy. But this is a time window. If we don't do it now, in 10 to 15 years, the Indians and Chinese know what to do among themselves. then we go in there and we wave our flag and say we are great, they'll say thanks, go home. Okay, one last question.
This question probably for Mr. Raj. China have gone through from agriculture to today world manufacture. I think India is going to do this. So you have to do business from both countries. Can you advise what will be a different approach that we have to India as where we experience in China?
China, okay, let me just share some of my personal experiences and just a little bit to touch on, and then I will answer your question with certain challenges or certain opportunities rather, not even challenges, opportunities that I faced when I was a Singapore-based company. I went into China. The perception that Chinese factories have when I say I'm a Singaporean, though I'm an Indian by origin, and I go to China to do business and I tell them that I'm a Singaporean-based company, I'm a Singaporean by citizen, lived in Singapore all my life, there's an automatic comfort level when they want to deal with me. When I tell them I will open LCs to you from a Singapore-based bank, they have that comfort level, oh, okay, we are safe. The impression that they have of Indians are, every time come here, bargain, 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 always want cheap price only. And then ship the material, have quality problems, make claim. That is the perception that the Chinese have of the Indians. Whereas the Indians, on the other hand, when the Chinese go there, which not many Chinese are going there. In fact, 5 years ago, I used to take my mom would pack some Indian food for me when I go to China, because when I go into the inner cities, there won't be Indian restaurants. Today, you won't believe it. Even in one of the, from Shanghai, if I travel 2 hours, most of the cities have an Indian restaurants. So Indians are also exploring into China. The differences between the two, as you said, as I said, I had a different experience in India. India, in terms of its production base, the costs are higher. So they are not as aggressive today as China is, because though the Indian government is giving a lot of subsidies for exports and a lot of, they have these SEZs, especially special economic zones that have been set up, a lot of subsidies that have been offered to exporters. I think going forward, India will start to play, but I don't think it will be as competitive as what China is. Right now, I would say China is here, India is here, but with the yuan strengthening slowly, they would be on par. I think the production cost or the opportunities to manufacture in either country would be the same. Again, they have their own strengths in their own ways in terms of Indians are a little more creative, they are much more better engineers or mathematicians, but the Chinese are more skilled. So again, there is pros and cons to both sides, and I think that's where the synergy comes in. And we in Singapore are well poised to take advantage of it, because we are living in a multiracial society. I have Chinese friends from my army days, even from my school days, who are, and I can understand their culture, I can understand what they are thinking in their mind, and I can understand the Indian perspective as well, because I've been brought up in that environment. So we are well poised to bridge this too. And today, if you look, even for materials being shipped, it has to come through the Straits of Malacca, and has to touch base in Singapore at some point with your cargo. You don't have road links or railway links between India and China as of yet. And so goods have to come through Singapore. We are well poised in a lot of ways, being a good financial center to take advantages of both sides. Thanks.
Somebody else? Taking 15 minutes ahead.
Sorry for keeping you all, it's 15 minutes ahead or over schedule.
Interesting. Okay.
Thank you.
On behalf of the National Library, can we just give a round of applause? Lesson learned. Next time we'll have it at 6:30. You guys can make it. Okay. So thank you very much for coming tonight. I know it's been a wonderful day, wonderful night. Good turnout today. Just a small request before you leave. There's a feedback form on your chairs. Or if you can't find it, there's some around. Could you just fill in your feedback and place it at the back before you leave? There's some pens, some pencils available there before you go. And just before you leave, let's just give a round of applause and a token of appreciation